If you're watching this and you're retired or about to retire with less than $500,000 saved, let me say this clearly before anything else. This is not a failure, and it is not the end of your story. There are millions of people quietly living meaningful, stable, and even joyful retirements with far less than that. But what separates those who feel calm from those who feel constantly anxious is not the number in their account, it's what they do next. Many people hear that number, 500,000, and immediately feel fear. They feel behind. They feel like they missed something important. They replay decisions from decades ago and wonder how things might have been different. I've read countless stories from retirees who say the same thing. I thought retirement would feel lighter than this, not because they're struggling every day, but because there's a constant mental weight they didn't expect. What often makes this harder is silence. People don't talk openly about retiring with limited savings. They compare themselves to headlines, charts, and ideal numbers that don't reflect real life, and so they carry that worry alone. This video is meant to interrupt that spiral, not with false comfort, but with grounded perspective and immediate clarity. Because if you retire with less than $500,000, there is one thing you must do immediately before you make any big decisions, before you cut your lifestyle drastically, before you panic, and before you assume the worst. You must slow down and reset how you view your situation. One of the most common mistakes retirees make in this position is treating retirement like a financial emergency instead of a life transition. They go into survival mode. They freeze spending entirely. Or, on the other extreme, they spend too freely because they're afraid to look closely. Both reactions come from the same place, fear without structure. I've seen people who had enough to live modestly for decades sabotage their own peace simply because they never took time to truly understand what they had, what they needed, and what actually mattered to them. And I've also seen people with very limited savings stretch their resources beautifully because they approached retirement with intention instead of panic.
The first thing you must do immediately is not cut expenses. It's not moving houses. It's not a part-time job. It's not even to meet with an advisor right away. The first thing you must do is create clarity. Clarity is different from budgeting. Clarity is about understanding your life, not just your money. It starts with asking honest questions, not judging yourself for the answers. Many retirees skip this step because it feels uncomfortable. They don't want to face the full picture. They tell themselves they'll figure it out later. But later is where anxiety grows. Later is where small worries become constant stress. Clarity begins with understanding your true monthly needs, not what you think you should spend, not what others say is acceptable, but what your life actually requires to feel stable. This includes housing, food, utilities, transportation, basic health care, and the small comforts that make life feel human. Not luxury, not indulgence, just reality. One retiree shared online that once she finally wrote everything down, she was surprised. Her needs were lower than she feared. The fear had been louder than the facts. Another retiree had the opposite realization. His spending was higher than he thought, but once he saw it clearly, he could adjust without panic. In both cases, clarity reduced fear. Without clarity, every purchase feels risky. Every unexpected expense feels catastrophic. With clarity, you regain control, even if the numbers are tight. The next part of this immediate step is understanding your guaranteed income. This includes pensions, Social Security, or any other reliable monthly source. Too many retirees focus only on their savings balance and forget to factor in what continues to come in every month. That mistake alone causes unnecessary stress. Savings are not meant to replace income entirely. They are meant to support it. When you understand how much is coming in versus how much is going out, the situation becomes grounded. Not easy, but grounded.
Another common issue at this stage is comparing your retirement to someone else's. Comparison is especially dangerous when money is involved. Someone else's comfort level, health, family support, and lifestyle choices are not yours. You are not late to your own life. You are exactly where you are, and that's the only place you can build from. Retiring with less than $500,000 does not mean you must live in constant fear, but it does mean you must be intentional. Intentionality begins with awareness, not restriction. This is also the moment to redefine what security means. Many people believe security comes from a large number in an account. In reality, security comes from predictability, routine, and support. People who know their monthly flow, who have stable housing, and who maintain strong social connections often feel more secure than those with higher balances and constant uncertainty. One older man wrote that the moment he stopped thinking of retirement as the end of earning and started thinking of it as the beginning of managing wisely, everything shifted. He didn't suddenly have more money, he had more peace. Another woman shared that her biggest relief came when she stopped asking, "Do I have enough?" and started asking, "What kind of life do I want to protect?" That question changed how she spent, how she planned, and how she felt. The immediate step, then, is this: pause, take inventory, and ground yourself in reality rather than fear. This does not solve everything, but it gives you a stable foundation for every decision that comes next. If you skip this step, every other move will feel rushed and reactive. If you do this step well, even difficult choices will feel intentional. Once you've taken that first step and created clarity around what you truly need each month and what income you can rely on, the next thing to do is protect what you already have. This is where many retirees unintentionally lose ground, not because of big mistakes, but because of small, quiet leaks that go unnoticed for years. When money feels limited, every dollar matters more, and yet this is often the stage where people stop paying attention. They tell themselves retirement is supposed to be simple now, so they don't look closely. But simplicity doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means designing your life so money quietly supports you instead of constantly worrying you. One of the most common issues retirees with less savings faces spending drift. This happens when spending slowly increases over time without any conscious decision. It's not reckless, it's subtle. A subscription here, convenience there. Small habits that don't feel significant in isolation, but add up months after month. I've read stories from retirees who were shocked when they finally reviewed their bank statements, not because they were living extravagantly, but because they were paying for things they no longer used or needed. Old memberships, automatic renewals, services that once made sense but quietly stayed. This is not about cutting joy, it's about removing friction. Every unnecessary expense creates mental noise. When you eliminate them, you're not just saving money, you're buying peace. One retiree shared that after canceling just a handful of unused subscriptions, he felt an unexpected sense of relief, not because the savings were massive, but because he felt more in control again. Control is deeply comforting when income feels finite. Another silent drain comes from convenience spending. When energy levels change in retirement, it's easy to rely more on takeout, delivery, or impulse purchases. These aren't wrong, but when they become default behaviors rather than intentional choices, they quietly shorten the lifespan of your savings. Being intentional doesn't mean saying no to everything. It means choosing what truly adds value. Many retirees find that when they slow down and ask themselves, "Does this actually improve my day?" their spending naturally aligns with what matters most. The next important thing to do immediately is to protect your housing situation. Housing is usually the largest expense in retirement, and when savings are limited, housing stability becomes essential to peace of mind. This doesn't automatically mean downsizing. It means evaluating honestly. Is your housing predictable? Is it manageable physically, emotionally, and financially? Many retirees stay in homes that quietly drain their energy and money simply because change feels overwhelming. One woman shared that after years of stressing about maintenance and repairs, she realized her house was costing her more than money. It was costing her peace. When she moved to a smaller, more manageable place, her expenses dropped, but more importantly, her anxiety did too. For others, staying put made sense, but only after adjustments, refinancing, budgeting for maintenance, or getting help with upkeep. The goal isn't to follow a rule, it's to ensure your home supports your retirement instead of controlling it. Another crucial step at this stage is separating fear-based decisions from thoughtful ones. When money feels tight, fear often whispers extreme solutions. I can't spend anything. I'll never be able to enjoy life again. I should give up everything just in case. These thoughts feel protective, but they can be harmful. A retirement lived entirely in restriction is not sustainable. Emotional burnout can be just as damaging as financial strain. Several retirees have shared that the moment they allowed themselves small, planned pleasures, weekly coffee outings, simple hobbies, regular walks with friends, their overall spending actually became more controlled. Why? Because deprivation often leads to impulsive behavior later. Retirement with less than $500,000 requires balance, not punishment. You are not trying to survive, you are trying to live thoughtfully. Another thing to address immediately is your relationship with debt. High-interest debt is especially dangerous in retirement. It creates constant pressure and reduces flexibility. If you carry credit card balances, this is a priority area, not with shame, but with strategy. Some retirees shared that simply creating a realistic plan to reduce debt, even slowly, helped them sleep better. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Every small reduction increases breathing room. At the same time, not all debt is equal. Fear often pushes people to drain savings just to be debt-free. That can backfire. What matters most is cash flow and stability. Decisions should be measured, not rushed.
Another overlooked area is healthcare planning. Not just insurance, but routines. Unexpected health expenses can derail even the best plans. Retirees who proactively schedule checkups, stay active within their limit, and address small issues early often save money in the long run. More importantly, they protect independence. Health isn't just physical. Emotional and mental health play a huge role in spending patterns. Loneliness, boredom, and anxiety often lead to unnecessary purchases. Staying socially connected is not just good for the heart, it's good for your finances. One man shared that after retirement, his spending spiked simply because he felt isolated. Once he joined a local group and built a routine, his spending naturally stabilized. Connection replaced consumption. At this stage, the key theme is protection. Protect your money, protect your energy, protect your sense of control. Retirement with limited savings is not about shrinking your life, it's about removing what drains it.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss future videos. See you in the next one.